Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Joey B podcast. We are now into the year of the snake, and I have a lot to talk about today. I'm going to talk about my birthday, turning 40, my online dating life so far. I'm going to talk about the snake and all the lessons that this year, you should be prepared for this year, and like why I take this stuff so seriously. I'm going to talk about the lessons. I have a list right here of like lessons that I've learned at the age of 40, and OPT updates. I guess we'll start with the juicy stuff first, huh? The dating stuff. It's been interesting, like what has shifted inside of me is like, yeah, I do want a wife. I do want kids. And so I'm like, okay, how do I begin to date? One of the things for me personally is that I like to be friends first, because the way that I view relationships and let me preface it by this. Over the past 4 years, my understanding, my perspective, my view on relationships has changed dramatically because of not only the people that I've worked with, people that have been in relationships for a very long time, people that have been in and out of relationships, like serial daters that just go in and out of relationships, from different cultures and how they approach dating, marriage, family. Like all this has alchemized into my own personal belief, philosophy, and what feels not only safe for me, what feels healthy for me, what feels sustainable for me. And I think for me, the biggest thing was I feel so much more stable and steady and confident in who I am, my skills, my talents, what I have to offer. I know my boundaries, I know my limits. I know what I want to do with my life. I know how I would want my family life to go. And I think that that's the biggest thing, is like I'm stabilized inside. And I think that's what was so hard about creating this dating profile, is like, how do I express who I am through some prompts or some questions or through some pictures? Because I'm a lot. I'm a lot. And what I mean by a lot is like, I have a lot to offer. I have a lot going on, like just in my life. I have a big life. I have an exciting life. I have an awesome life. And I want someone that can add to that. I want someone that's going to be like, they don't have to be like me. I'm not looking for someone. I don't actually, and I'm going to talk about this in the dating profile. I don't need someone like me. I don't need someone that's high octane. I don't need someone that is just go, 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 do. I don't need that. I need someone that's going to help me like relax, to calm down, to laugh, to play, to talk, to converse, to just do simple, dumb things like watch movies, look at memes, eat food, and yeah, like see the world. So the reason I want a friend to like my friend first is because I want to know the person. Like when I went celibate in 2020 for the 8 months, and then I did another 5-month chunk, and then I've done a 3-month chunk, I've done another 6-week chunk last year. That really helped me get clear on what I'm attracted to physically. Because being sexually abused growing up, I don't want to go into this rabbit hole too much, but it can send people in these really weird spirals and really dysfunctional habits and ways of thinking and interpretation. So for me, I had to, during that time of celibacy, I did a lot of thinking around what do I physically find attractive in a female? What do I find sexually attractive in a female versus what has my trauma and or pornography and or the over sexualization of modern day society contributed to what I think is beautiful, what I think is sexy, what turns me on, what catches my eye. And through the celibacy, I got really clear on that. This was a dysfunctional thought. This was not. This is something that I thought that I liked, but it was really mainly just taught. This is what I actually like. This is what I actually, when it comes to, I'm just talking about the physical parts. But what I'm attracted to as like a personality, as a heart, as a thinker, as a conversationalist, that has stayed the same. And so back when I was really getting into like salsa dancing and all that stuff, that's when I was like dating the most. And I really love dancing. I love salsa. I love any kind of dancing except for fucking country swing. Miss me with that bullshit. Fucking line dancing. Tango dancing. But what had happened, one of the reasons why I had to close down OPT in 2017 for 2 years was because I lost focus on what it means to be a business owner. And so I would, 3-4 nights a week, I'm going dancing. So I'd leave my work early so I could go home, get changed, get dressed, and go to dancing. That starts like at 9:30 at night. And then by the time you're actually social dancing, it's like 10:30, 11. And then I'll be dancing from like 11 to 1. And then I got work the next day. And sometimes I would have my other trainer show up. But I would be absent a lot. And me being absent a lot, I didn't focus on the business. I didn't focus on how to grow the business. I didn't focus on marketing. I didn't focus on keeping things organized. I was just like going out, dancing, having fun. And now my life is so different on weekends. What I like to do is so different, especially because of how over the past 9 years, my life has been really centered around ceremony and prayer and meditation and so I don't go out. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't party. Which it's like on the outside, it's like, yeah, this guy's fucking boring. I am boring. I'm a fucking boring ass grandpa. But I'm not. I have a lot of excitement in my life. I have a lot of joy, a lot of laughter, a lot of fun, a lot of adventure. And so as I'm like, okay, I want to date, but where do I meet women? Ideally, I would love to find a wifey at Barnes & Noble. It's like, in my head, one of the things is like, I am a hopeless romantic. It might not seem like that. Bro, I wish, this is a real thought in my head. I'm at Barnes & Noble, or I'm at a bookstore, and I'm reaching for a book, and another girl reaches for the same book. Boom, love story. Oh my God, you love Dune? I love Dune. Or I'm at Trader Joe's and some lady drops a jar of peanut butter and I pick it up and we make eye contact and it's like, oh my God, did I just find wifey at Trader Joe's? Like, in my head, that would be amazing. And I'm not saying that can't happen, but I'm like, man, I don't really go out. So I'm like, all right, I can't just want something. I can't just wish for something. I have to actually put forth action, intention. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to do the online dating thing. But even though every person I've heard, actually shout out to Manny, who's on the door here at OPT. He's the dude that lost 100 pounds. He met his wife online and I officiated their wedding. No big deal. He's a wedding officiate too. Yes, not a big deal. I've officiated multiple weddings. Not a big deal. Anyway, so I was the officiate for their wedding. Now, So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do this online dating profile thing. And oh my god. So everyone says it's a nightmare. Everyone says every guy, all the girls, right? All the guys I've asked are like, they say the same thing. Oh, there's no good women out there. Blah 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 blah. All the girls say, oh, all the guys are pieces of shit. It's disgusting. They're fucking gross. They say the grossest things to me. I'm like, oh my god. I was like, but I'm gonna try it because in my head, I'm like, you guys are doing it wrong. Probably. In my head, that's what I'm thinking. You guys are doing it wrong. So I reach out. I think there's like, I don't know, like 7, 8, 9 different women I've reached out to at all different ages, all different backgrounds that know me through OPT. They know me through ceremony. They know me through like just friendship. And so I got all this feedback on how to craft my profile, you know. And I know that I overthink a lot. But one of the things was, because last year was the year of the dragon. And dating is a dragon for me because to me it's like a headache. It not that I don't want to date. It's like the whole dating process. It's like, look, can we hang out? Do you like let's just talk. I'm a very big, I just want to talk to you. Because if you're dumb, then you're definitely not going to be wifey and you're definitely not going to be the mother of my child. If you can't think, if you can't problem solve, if you're not creative, if you're not funny, if you're not resilient, if you're not insightful, bro, you're not going to be my wifey and you're not going to be my baby mama. I can't. So for me, I just want to see if we could talk. Like, what's your life about? Like, how are you as a human? Again, you don't have to be like me, but like, do we just get along talking? Or is the perception of dating is how entertained can I keep you? And that's what it seems like to me. Dating is like, let me entertain you till I get what I want. And once I get what I want, then everything starts to reveal itself. I'm not like that. I told all the girls that were helping me put this together, I was like, dude, I just want to make a video of me and my nasal strip, Crocs, tank top, and a mukbang and be like, what's up? This is me. And if you give me a shot, I promise I'm awesome. I promise that, you know? That's what I wanted to do, but everyone's like, you can't do that. Ah. So anyways, I made this profile. And I had some really great talks with some of the women who helped me put this together. Because they were like saying all the same things around the vulgarness, around like, oh, guys are so vulgar and they send me the grossest things. They just want to fuck. They just want to have sex. And I'm like, hold on a second. Which person do you respect more? The man that says, hey, you want to sleep together? Hey, can we have sex? Hey, can we hook up? Hey, I'm not looking for nothing. Or the man that whines you, dines you, you know, charms you, still sleeps with you, still gets whatever he wants from you, and then leaves. Which one's better? Which one's actually more genuine and authentic? And two of the women, one of them was in her 50s, one of them is in her 40s, and one of them is in her 30s, that I asked this question to. I said, well, which one's better? Which one do you respect more? And they were like, well, we never thought about it like that. And I said, this is where my overthinking comes in. Because I'm like, well, somewhere along the line, someone taught that man that that's okay. And it's worked in the past. So he keeps doing that because guess what? There's shitty women and there's shitty men no matter where you go in life. Period. Flat out blank. And if you don't understand that, you haven't worked with enough people. You haven't talked to enough people. You haven't done enough therapy. You haven't listened well enough. There's shitty people everywhere. When I was in the salsa scene, dancing a lot, you know, I was like, bro, this whole fucking scene is wild, man. It's just people talking shit about people, people backstabbing one another. People are just here to fuck. Like, this is not, like, what are we even doing here? And like, that was, and as I started to call it out more and more, people were like, oh, I guess you're right. I guess it's true. I'm like, yeah, but we're just dancing up nice and I can do a cross-body lead. And like, oh, so now I'm worthy? It's like, anyways. So I was like, but somewhere along the line, that has worked for that man. So he'll keep doing it because somewhere, some woman will give him what he wants and he has to put in no effort. And that's, it's like some of the men that treat women like that. Because I told the women, I said, I'm all for being vulgar. I'm all for, the nastiness. But there's a time, there's a place, there's a space for all that to take place. And maybe it's an opportunity to ask that guy, hey, why do you feel like it's okay to talk to me like that? Not just being curious, just totally being curious. Why do you think that's okay to talk to me like that? Versus block, ignore, you're a piece of shit, oh, you're an asshole. Or it's like, wow, this guy's really brave, bold, and he's actually being authentic, versus the guy that's trying to swooze me, blah, 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 blah. And one of the ladies was like, I hear what you're saying, but some of these guys will do that after I say no. And I said, well, then that's the difference. If you've said no and you're like, hey, man, don't fucking talk to me like that, or that's so disrespectful, and they keep doing it, yeah, it's like, fuck those people. All people like that. But again, it's a learned thing, right? So as I'm, putting together the profile, like, how do I express me? How do I have someone get to know me? Because a lot of what's on the profile is like, it's just look at me. I know I am not a good-looking person. I've talked about this on my other podcast before. It's like with this lady Esme. It's like, I'm a bridge troll. I think at best I'm like a 6, but as you get to know me, I'm like 10, 11, 12. Damn, this guy, blah, 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 right? And so I'm like, I'm not really the person you're gonna see and be like, wow, that's a really good-looking guy. I know that about me. Women have told that to me. My guy friends have told that to me. I've accepted that. So I'm like, okay, like, how do I showcase what makes me me on this profile? So, and as I'm going through it, and some of the women are like, change this, do this, use this picture, don't do that picture, don't say this, say this. Like, some of them were like, you're overthinking it. And I said, one of the things that, this is a dragon, right? Dating is a dragon. I said, I want to know that I did my due diligence. I want to know that I put forth a good, solid effort, that I just didn't throw some fucking shitty profile together. So I know that I put forth effort. And then from there, I can tweak it however I want. And I'm open to coaching. I'm open to feedback from many different women that know me from many different backgrounds. I think I put together a solid fucking profile. But guess what? It's been nothing but crickets. It's been nothing but crickets. It's only been a week, but whatever. And then I'm always thinking about, because because I meet a lot of different people, I always hear what people complain about other people, or like, oh my God, don't say that. Oh my God, don't say that. That's creepy. You're creepy. This is creepy. So I'm like, how do I even engage? Do I say hello? Because women have told me, oh, there's a guy came between the store and said hello and asked me for my name. That's so creepy. I'm like, what the fuck? If that's creepy, I don't even know what to say. I'm like, I have no idea. And then as I'm listening to like all the women things, and I'm like, well, what is about the man's perspective? Like, for me, it's like, how many women out there are going to hold up a fucking glass of wine and say, oh, I like adventure in wine. Oh, wow. Please continue to tell me how sophisticated you are. You like to travel and adventure and you drink wine? Oh, please stop overwhelming me with the depth of who you are. Like, 95% of the profiles that I saw were that. I like adventure, travel, and wine. Oh my God. I'm like, and then it's like, well, when you say you like adventure, what does that even mean? Again, I'm big on words. I'm big on meaning. And I'm not saying I'm not overthinking it, but these are the things that I'm like, that's why I want a friend. Because it's like, you can find out. It's like, what does adventure mean to you? Oh, adventure means a nice restaurant, a glass of wine? That's adventure? Oh, going on a day hike to Sedona? That's an adventure? It's like, okay, well, you could come with me to live in the jungle. That's an adventure to me. You want to eat these 5 grams of mushrooms and I'll take you to places you didn't even know existed? That's adventure. Come on a hike with me out in the desert with one of my friends while we pray with this sacred cactus right here. That's an adventure. Like, what are we even talking about right now? You know? But, so then I'm like, okay, what's adventure mean? What does travel mean? What is, you know what I mean? And I have a different, obviously, perspective and a lens on things. And it was like, I'm like thinking about all this, and one of this person who's no longer in my life said something really hurtful to me last year. And she had said, "Oh, you have commitment issues. Like that's why, you have such dating problems." And I said, "Hey, let me tell you something real quick. There's probably 3 or 4 ladies right now that I guarantee you I could not only date, I could marry, and they could have my children. But those women, I don't want that from them. They're not good enough for me." So you say that, but you're only seeing one side of the story. But if I say, I haven't found a woman that's good enough for me yet to be my wife, to have the children of my mother, or to be the mother of my children, I haven't found that yet. So it has nothing to do with my commitment or not having options. It's I haven't found the highest quality one yet. So I hear what you're saying, but you're wrong. And now you're looking at me like da 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 da. And it's really funny too because, and this has happened to me before I even got into personal growth work, before I got into transformation work. I used to play poker with a group of guys, and they'd always ask me like, "Oh, how many girls do you sleep with?" I was like, I don't. Even before I got into celibacy and stuff, it's like I don't. Like, that's my old life. So people have this idea of me that I'm like, I have all these girlfriends and I'm sleeping around. I'm going from girl to girl. It's like, I don't. Which is weird. I'm like, why do people think like that of me? Even when I was at this thing called the Hoffman process, one of my friends, who's still my friend to this day, she had told me, "Oh, Joey, all the girls got together and they were like talking about all the guys in the class, and all the girls voted like you'd be the one for a one-night stand." I'm like, what? I've never even had a one-night stand. Still to this day, I've never had a one-night stand. And I'm like, why do people think like that of me? Is it because of my personality, my playfulness, my enthusiasm, my joy for life? Like, that's so weird to me. So I'm like, and especially because, again, I'm not a good-looking dude. Like, in terms of, like, I got the jawline, I got the fucking six-pack, I'm tall, I got perfect teeth, I got a great nose, like, I dress well. I don't hit any of those qualifications. So again, I'm like, why do people think like that of me? So this is all happening, and then I got 3 women ask me, well, what kind of woman do you want to attract? And then it's interesting to see and hear what people think the type of one I want. It's like, I don't date no one that calls themselves spiritual. It's like, nah, I'm already out, dude. I can't. This is just because a lot of the women that I've met in the quote-unquote spiritual community, they're fucking psychos. They're fucking crazy. And they go to ceremonies to hide behind their bullshit. And I'm like, nah, dude, I don't want none of that. I don't even want that energy in my life. And so I find myself in this really weird, and it could be like, oh yeah, Joey, you're too picky. Oh yeah, no, it's not that I'm too picky. It's that I am clear on what it is that I'm looking for, and I'm looking for that balance. Like me, again, people will, I don't want to get jump too far. Lately, over the past 4 years, people will ask me, are you a medicine man? Are you a shaman? Just last week, this guy, he was like, hey man, you're like a swami. He sent me this whole text about this dude in India who died a long time ago. This guy that came to a meditation class, and afterwards, it gave me the chills. It almost made me cry and was like, man, what do I call you? Do I call you a guru? Do I call you Swami? Do I call you a healer? This has happened like so many times over the past 4 years, especially because I've been out more expressing about what I do, the work that I do, or people that have some real serious breakthroughs working with me, some serious transformations, and I say, look, just call me Joey, call me Coach. I'm not going to tell you what you think that I am. That's not for me to decide. That's for a creator to decide. But you can just call me Joey because I don't want you putting me up on a pedestal. I don't want you putting me up at this fucking platform. I'm just a regular fucking human that is into some really awesome shit. But like, I cuss a lot. I talk a lot of shit. I'm very vulgar. I have a very wild side to me. I look at memes. I watch movies. I eat peanut M&Ms and fucking popcorn and hot dogs every now and then. Like, I don't subscribe to the dogma and rigidity of what a spiritual person is. Flat out, I don't. And the reason I say all this is because in the profile, I want them to know who I am. This is who I am. Because if you see me and I'm like doing all my spiritual, whatever even that word fucking means, I know what that means. But when you call yourself spiritual, do you know what it means? 99.9% of people that use that word have no idea what it means and how it applies to their life. So it's like, I have one of my pictures is where I'm praying at the peyote gardens because I want them to know this is a side of me. I want them to know that I'm playful, that I'm laughter, that I'm deep, that I'm philosophical, that I'm a writer, that I crochet. And it's like, I didn't put all, it's like so many people are like, oh, I like to travel and I like food. Really? Wow. You travel and you like food? Wow. Please. I'm so intrigued. Tell me more. And I'm like, okay. But again, how do I convey all this? Because for me, if I just lead with that, it scares people. I'm very aware that my intensity, who I am, the way that I think, the way that I conduct myself, it can scare people. I've done it here at OPT. And I'm like, I don't want to scare anyone anymore. That's not my goal. That's not what I'm trying to do. What I'm trying to do, it's not so much what kind of woman do I want to attract. It's what can a woman accept me who I am and add to what it is. Again, you don't have to be what I am. But yeah, would you pray? Would you come to sweat? Would you come to ceremony? You don't got to do it as much as I do. When we travel, can we help people in need? Can we go to the sacred sites? Can we make offerings? Or when you look at traveling, is it just all about entertainment? Is adventure just entertainment? Can you slow down? Can we just talk? Can we just talk shit with each other? Can we just fucking laugh? Can we just be simple? Can you accept me for this? Nasal strip, tank top, and Crocs. And I've dated some really amazing, incredible, beautiful, talented, inspiring women. And they did accept me for who I am. Now, the reason that none of those women, it went farther than a relationship is because there were things that ultimately didn't align on a deep philosophical, spiritual level, or like where I want to go with my life. Even some of the women that no longer talk to me or whatever, I don't hate them. I don't wish bad upon them. I hope that they're doing great. I'm actually happy when they're doing great. And so it's just been like a really eye-opening, funny, frustrating, stressful experience. I'm only on week 1. And these are all the rabbit holes I went down. And then I thought about, man, how come none of the women that gave me this stuff are like, well, how many women out there have plastic surgery, Botox, fake hair, fake nails, fake lashes? That was one of the things that I learned going through this whole celibacy thing is like, I really like natural beauty. I'm not saying I don't like it when women wear makeup or nothing like that, but it's like, man, how about you keep finding shitty men is because you're a plastic version of a human being. So you're going to attract plastic people. And that's where, some of these things I got really sad. Like I cried over I wanted to do this picture with this lady who I helped in sobriety. And I just love this lady and I love this photo. And some of my friends were like, you can't have no pictures of women up there. The one with your mom is fine, but have no pictures of other women. And I'm like, damn, dude, are women that insecure? Are people that insecure that if they see a picture with me and another woman, they're like, oh, is that his ex? Did he fuck her? Is that who he's sleeping with? Is that? It's like, no, man, I just want you to know this is my life. These are people that I love. This is the work that I do. Like, my life is about service. And when I'm not working or I'm not at service, I just want to relax and slow down and laugh and talk shit and eat good food and have amazing sex. I want to have an amazing sex life. And when we travel and adventure and do these things, there's always going to be meaning behind it. I'm not trying to fucking go to Disneyland. I'm not trying to fucking go to Vegas. I'm not trying to fucking go to some goddamn winery and fucking do a wine flight. I'm not trying to go on a fucking cruise. It's like, man, that's like, what the hell? You know, like, I don't have any clothes, and I don't think I've ever shared this before. It's because in 2017, I gave all my clothes away because I was living in this really shitty part of Phoenix in a really shitty apartment in 2018. And in a ceremony, it was like, let it all go. And I let all my shoes go. I let all my nice clothes go. Like, I let everything go. And I haven't really recollected other than what I'm going to wear at OPT. And part of it is like, for me, it's like, well, if I show up to a date and I have Crocs and a nasal strip on, I want you to see my heart. I want you to see what's behind that stuff. Because this is going to be me 99% of the time. And you can, yeah, the other arguments are, well, that's why you're single, or that's why this, or that's why that. You're not going to attract the woman that you want if you look like that and dress like that. It's like, well, then I guess I might be single for the rest of my life. But I think for me, it's like, I just want to be genuine. I just want to be myself. You know? And if someone accepts me for that, then it's like, okay, we're headed in the right direction. And yeah, it's just been really interesting. But shout out to everyone that's helped me make the profile and all of that so far. Man, we'll see. So I'm on the lookout for wifey, but I want that wifey to be my best friend first. All right. Now, the year of the snake. I'm gonna pause really quick because I gotta turn on the sauna. So I'm gonna pause. Pause. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. All right. So the year of the snake. Let's jump into the snake. So I did this meditation class. Every year, not only for the end of the quote unquote new year, December 31st, and the beginning of the new year, January 1st, but the more that I've just studied and self-studied, I'm in a lot more alignment with the Lunar New Year. But because I live in the West, energetically, I'm still a part of the Western New Year. So I do both. The one thing that I really, really love about the Lunar New Year, it's attached to an animal, meaning it's more real. And what I mean by real is it's like tangible, and you can put your thoughts and your energy, effort. For me, like the dragon, the dating was a dragon. Losing all of my friends and teachers was dragon. Confronting the fact that my birth mom denied that I'm even alive is a dragon. Hearing from my quote unquote blood family was a dragon. The changes that happened here at OPT was a dragon, right? It helps you psychologically frame what is happening in your life, so it's something that can now be workable versus just in your head floating thoughts and confusion. So I do the same thing for the snake. Now, the snake, what's interesting about the snake, man, so I did this little drill, and I said, all right, everyone, we're going to do some breath work, blah, 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 and I want you to start saying things that a snake is. And everyone was like, obviously said all the negative, nasty things about it. Oh, it's sly, it's poisonous, it's evil, it's manipulative, it's lying, it's dangerous, it's violent. And, the class kept going and going and going. I said, yes, and I'm a student of the Tao. Nothing is all good, nothing is all bad. What are the good qualities of a snake? And everyone just said, it sheds its skin. And then I was like, it was very hard for people to, conceptualize. Well, we don't ever hear nothing good about the snake, because people have a hard time taking their thinking past their first step. And so then I listed out all of the different things that the snake actually represents. It's connected to feminine. And what I mean by feminine, it's not male, female, energetic properties. So we said, yeah, so if we were to say, you guys name qualities of the snake, so here's how that shows up as the feminine: chaos, destruction, darkness, the unknown, confusion. But the feminine is responsible for inspiration, creativity, beauty, song, dance, play, pleasure, joy, listening. That's feminine when you understand how to tame it, work with it, channel it. People use words like kundalini, life force, shakti. Me, I say libido. And that's the snake is the ultimate cosmic power in the universe. If you know not only how to listen, how to channel, how to tame, how to work with that. So you're constantly inspired, creating. You have a rhythm, you have a tempo, you're resilient, you're able to shed your skin, right? The snake is the same energy as anxiety, stress, worry, paranoia, addiction, tiredness, laziness. I made a whole list of here's all this that the snake can represent in your real life. The inability to sit still, being stuck, being scary. Like for me, it's like I'm very scary. I have a sharp tongue, right? Snake is around language, the ability to smell. Timing. The snake represents lightning. But if you only look at it from a bad lens, then you're always only going to look at it from a bad lens. And here in the West, we talked about Eve. Eve always gets blamed. Oh, the snake was the devil. The snake was this Satan. It's like, hey, man, first of all, if you guys believe in fairy tales, then that's true. But I don't believe in fairy tales, so it's not true. And if you want to go down that route and say, the snake, it's like, well, yeah, shout out to the snake. Shout out to Eve. Because without Eve, if you believe in fairy tales, we don't have modern day world. You don't got this iPhone. We don't got Instagram. We don't have cruises. We don't got vacations. Whatever people like to do for fun, we don't get to party. There's no alcohol. There's no drugs. There's no sex. There's no Burning Man. There's no raves. There's no concerts. There's no fucking music. There's no house music. There's no rap music. There's no cuisine. There's no play. There's no freedom. There's no laughter. There's no cities. There's no cars. There's no airplanes. There's no TVs. There's no Squid Games. There's no fucking movies. Without Eve, none of that is possible. Without the snake, none of that is possible. So you really just, how do you want to look at it? And for me, when I'm thinking about the snake, right? It's like this year for me, and I talked about a lot of this in the class. It's like, I've been training for the year of the snake my whole entire life. And I talked about the deities that taught me how to handle snakes. And the most important snake that you need to learn how to handle is the one inside yourself. And I talked about long story short is like, I said, who in here is a perfectionist? And there was like 90% of the people raised their hand. I said, let me ask you something. If you believe in God, and God created the most perfect place that's ever existed, Eden, and he couldn't keep a snake out, what makes you think you're ever going to keep a snake out? And everyone was like, silence. I said, so all you can do is learn how to work with the snake, period. And the most important one is the inner snake. I had the whole list of their inner snakes, and we designed the snakes, and my snake is called I can, I-K-A-N, like I can do this. That's like a positive affirmation for me. I can. Or I-E-Y-E-K-I-N, Iken. And that is like the dune, Fadaiken. Iken is a fighter, is a warrior. The snake is a protector, to protect what is most sacred. Your own divinity, your own inspiration, your own ideas, your own path. Your path is so sacred, but most people don't ever understand that because they're unwilling to put their heart on the line. They're unwilling to wrestle with failure and rejection and the ability to pivot or say no or walk away from a job or walk away from a relationship or take a chance to get back up. That's why I said the resiliency. Snake is resilient. And it's like, oh my God, I've been training for this my entire life. I'm telling you, in my head, in my heart, in my body, my mind, my spirit, I feel like this year is going to be the best year I've ever had. Because the snake is the most powerful energy in the cosmos. If you understand it, if you are willing to look at your own snakeness, but then your own divinity, your gifts, your skills, your talents, if you're willing to listen to inspiration. The word inspiration literally translates to fill with spirit, i.e. creator, God, universe, whatever you want to call it. And then you have to have the spine or the courage to implement it, to go for it. You have to be willing to shed skin, and that's ideas, ideologies, beliefs. But most people are cowards. They cling. Most people cling to life. They cling to who they are, their identity, how they identify themselves. They cling to it. It's like, well, that's why you stay stuck. And I've been that for a lot of my life. And one of the things that I thought about this year is like, not only am I going to be speaking a lot more or like doing more, again, the podcast, sharing my ideas, my beliefs, because I have a sharp tongue. So if I offend someone, then that's on you. Now, if you disagree with me and you want to have a conversation about it, we can have a conversation about it. And part of that for me is like, hey man, wake up. Take it a step further. That's why I tell people when I said, oh yeah, the Bible, if you believe in make-believe fantasy stories, and people can get up. It's like, hey man, you know all the stories in the Bible were hijacked from other cultures before the Bible even existed? Did you know that? Did you know that? That every story in the Bible has already been told from another culture, thousands of years, hundreds of years before the Bible was even written? No, you didn't know that because you don't want to actually learn. The snake is the ability to look something in its eye. So like when a snake, it's like here. And if I'm not saying that the Bible doesn't hold truths, I look at it as like psychological truths. Shout out to JP, Jordan Peterson. He taught me a lot about the psychological truths of the Bible. Now, again, if you've listened to a couple of the podcasts, I can't wait to the day that I get to meet Jordan Peterson and have the intellectual sparring, because it's like, yeah, but there's a lot of falsehoods in that too, a lot. And you're not giving credit to the original people that wrote these stories that the Bible just hijacked. And what that did to humanity, what that did to the West, what that did to Native Americans. And I talked about it in the class. A lot of natives have taboos around snakes. Oh, snakes are bad luck. Snakes are this. It's like, that's not true. If you actually go and do the research and you start to study other stories, that's not true at all. It's a piece of the truth, but it's not totality. That's why it's like the Tao. Nothing is all good, nothing is all bad. There's a dark and there's a light to everything. Everything. And so then I was talking to the class about other cultures and how they relate to snakes. Some of my highest teachers, friends, allies, people that teach me, Vishnu, Hanuman, Ganesha, the Buddha, Lakshmi, Kuan Yin. Just go study their relationships with snakes. Just study it. Take your thinking one step further. I also talked about Moses and the staff with the snake for healing. Snake is the most transformative healing power in the cosmos. But if you only want to look at it as evil and bad and dangerous and poisonous and all that, then that's all you're ever going to get, and you're going to stay stuck. So I love the snake. I'm so excited for this year. And it could be a really scary year for people. It could be a really hard year for people. It could be a really chaotic year for people. That's why I like talking about some of these things. It's like, hey, look, I'm trying to tell you guys, if you don't want to listen, if you think I'm full of shit, if you think I'm crazy, I'll catch you at the end of next year. I'm going to say, I told you so. But it also, like the dragon, last year was really hard for me. What I said about the year of the dragon, because we summed it up in a sentence, I said, the year of the dragon summed up in a sentence is the removal of delusion was more hurtful than I can ever have imagined. But it brought about a tremendous amount of clarity. Emotionally, last year was a very hard, challenging year filled with sadness and grief. Because there was a lot of delusion on my part. I'll just say 100% on my part. And when I removed that, man, it is like hurtful and sad and scary. But I've never been more clear on not only who I am, but the direction of my life and what it is that I'm trying to create. Again, which is why I created the dating profile, because it's a dragon for me. So, and mainly because it's like rejection. Rejection is a dragon of mine that runs so deep. My own birth mom denied my existence. Her name is on my birth certificate. You want to talk about rejection? You want to talk about abandonment? You want to talk about Jesus Christ, man? It's like, that's intense. That was intense for me. But it's like, now I know where that comes from. Now I see it, and now I can go right at it. The snake, right at it. Now for me, the reason again, the tongue, the conversation, is because I have to be careful of how I use my tongue. Now, if I say something that hurts you or offends you, again, that's on you, because I'm not going to say anything personal, hateful, with malice, with ill intent. But we can have a conversation around it. And if you're not willing to have a conversation around it, that's your snake. My snake's here ready to go. We can talk about it. Because most of the time, it's always people trying to downplay native beliefs or even my own personal beliefs. But then when it's like, okay, here you go. You were wrong. I just dismantled you. And I got to be okay with that. And I think like this part of one of my snakes is like the arrogance or the ego. Because I know that I'm arrogant. I know that I'm egoic. I know that I can be an asshole. I know that about me. And part of the snake loves that about me. So like part of it is like learning how to, when to let that out, when to navigate it, when to like, not worry about it and move on. To flow, to ebb, right? So my snake is Ican, Fadaikin, the warrior, the Apache. It's all white. It's got these purple eyes, and it has like these glowing scales like kind of scattered throughout it. And it's like Hanuman holds the snake, and together they conduct lightning and do whatever they need to do to transform, to create, to protect, to listen. because I think part of the one of my intentions here is rhythm and tempo and weaving, right? Like a snake, a double snake weaving is like learning how to apply that softness, that kindness, that sweetness. That's not only within myself that I actually like being, but part of my nature is a protector. So that's why I share some of these things. So it's like, some of these false beliefs, false stories, ideologies are actually causing division. It's actually causing dysfunction. It's actually causing the removal of listening, intimacy, connection, and vulnerability. We're actually doing not me. I'm not saying, when I say we, I mean the world, but it's like causing damage and friction because people are so fucking rigid in their ideologies and beliefs and their inability to have a conversation. And just because someone says something that might be offensive or hurtful or you don't agree with, doesn't make them a bad person. Doesn't make them evil. Doesn't make them insert any negative thing that's being spewed out there these days. It doesn't make them that. If you are an empowered individual, then just listen to see what they have to say. Ask some questions. You should be able to provide, if you don't believe, you should be able, in your own words, to articulate why you believe this. Give examples in your life, i.e. facts, and back it up what you stand on. And so that's why I do some of these classes, because I want people to understand it not only metaphysically, because who cares about the metaphysics if people don't believe in that stuff? How does it show up in your life? How are you going to change it? How are you responsible for that? What are you going to do to harness that, channel that, tame that, so you can shed these skins and move forward to bring about a tremendous amount of beauty, love, joy, kindness, laughter, connection, conversation, listening, play, dance, excitement, energy, positive energy. So the snake is going to be a good one. What I'm going to do a separate one. I'm going to end that podcast here for today. I'm going to do a separate one about the things that I've learned turning 40 for its own thing. So even I could just send that to people as like advice. So yeah, OPT is doing great, which is makes me really happy. So thank you everyone that has been here, supported me, wished me happy birthday, helped me with my dating profile. Everybody, good luck to you as you journey into the year of the snake. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, I got you. You can hire the snake charmer, the snake destroyer, the snake catcher, the snake breeder, the snake juggler, the snake sheriff. You can hire me. You can talk to me. I got all kinds of free stuff, but you can bring me into your life and I'll help you. Thank you guys. Yeah, that's a good one. Happy 2025, everybody. Welcome to the year of the Earth Snake. Shoo.